Let's start the conversation this evening with Ondo State, where civil society organizations are urging Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa to prioritize local government autonomy and strengthen grassroots governance. Now, this call comes amidst growing concerns over the effectiveness of service delivery, transparency, and citizen participation at the local level. As Nigeria continues to grapple with decentralization challenges, Ondo's response could set a precedent for democratic accountability and inclusive development across the region. Well, joining me right now to discuss this is Ayodeji Ologun, is the chairman of Ondo Redemption Front. I also have, of course, joining me virtually is Femi Lawson, is the SSA on Public Enlightenment to the Ondo State Governor. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Dapo, thank you for having me.
All right. Let me start with you, Mr. Femi Lawson. You are the SSA to the Governor on Enlightenment. And, of course, the civil society organizations have raised some concerns, particularly governance at the local level, requesting that we know that there's a Supreme Court ruling that local governments, enjoy autonomy. So I'd like you to respond to this from the angle of the government. They have said that the government should prioritize local government autonomy and also strengthen grassroots governance. What's the response of the government on this?
No, for us, we are not opposed to any call for transparency and accountability as far as the government of Ondo State under the incumbent administration of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa is concerned, because as a democratic state, the government itself is a product of the will of the people. And whatever is the will of the people, especially in the area of the demand for accountability, remains a priority for government. But we strongly feel that many people who are driving this recent call may not be aware deeply about how grassroots governance is being entrenched in Ondo State. For years in Ondo State, local governments in the state were administered by selected, appointed caretaker committees. There was no democratic election into the local government in Ondo State for so many years until the administration of Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa came on board. That alone signals the determination of the governor to ensure and entrench the participation of our people at the grassroots level in development and governance in Ondo State. And since this local government the democratic leadership has taken charge of governance at the grassroots level in Ondo State, they have been empowered to undertake those activities, those programs and policies that are designed and as empowered by the Constitution for them as local government, of course, as a third tier of government.
Okay.
And that is why we have effective local government administration, not only in the 18 local government in Ondo State, but also across the 37 LCDs in the states.
Okay, just before I leave you, and for clarity on this, do these local governments right now, do they get their allocations from the central purse directly, or do they still have to get it from the state government?
Well, you must understand that the issue of allocation to local government is not about Ondo State. There is a constitutional issue that is still, an obstacle to that very ruling of the Supreme Court, and that is the Joint Account Committee that is a creation of the Constitution, which mandates allocations to state, to local government, to be put straight into a joint account where it is now administered for purposes of governance at the grassroots level. And this is not peculiar to Ondo State. It is what is obtainable in Nigeria today. Every state have what we call JAC, where the state and the local government jointly meet to distribute this allocation to issues of governance at the local government level. So Ondo State is not doing anything exceptional than what the Constitution has provided. And the allocations come, it is transparently distributed to the local government and, of course, the LCDs.
So basically, just for understanding right now, as of now, local governments in Ondo State don't get their allocations directly from the federal. It still passes through the joint account with the state.
There is no state where local government gets allocation.
Okay, we just needed to get that.
The JSC.
We just need to get that because we know that, of course, there's a Supreme Court ruling to that effect, and Nigerians need to understand the state of things. But let me leave you for a moment, and let me, of course, bring into this conversation right now Ayodeji Ologun is the chairman of the Ondo Redemption Front. I mean, apparently your group is passionate about development, particularly at the grassroots in Ondo State. Clearly, what is the current reality of administration right now, from your perspective, in Ondo State, particularly when it has to do with governance at the grassroots?
Well, thank you very much. It will interest you to know, just like you have rightly said, that there is a subsisting judgment of the Supreme Court to the effect that local government administration should be autonomous, and that entails financial autonomy of the local government across the federation. And that means that allocation as announced to each local government by the federal government should go into the account of each local government to be administered by democratically elected local government chairman of the councils. Three things are happening on those states which are not only illegal, but it calls for concern. Number one, the subsistence use of what you call the local government development areas is unconstitutional. It will interest you that at this morning, Ondo State still practice what is called the SCDA, which is strange and unknown to the Constitution, which means that whatever money is accruable to each local government is further divided to all of these SCDAs, which are unknown to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and no money is allocated to them. Number two, the spokesperson of the government made mention of the as I said to the governor, made mention of the fact while he was speaking that the money of all the government still comes into the joint account committee, that's the JAC. The Supreme Court judgment nullifies whatever is provided for in the Constitution according to him called the Joint Account Committee. And that is the extent and the essence of the judgment of Supreme Court granting financial autonomy to the local government. So if a state, the fact that it's applicable in one or two other states of the federation does not mean or does not make it acceptable, it does not make it judicial, it does not make it legal. So if, despite the judgment of the Supreme Court, which is the other body other than the Constitution provided or enabled to provide law, is saying that allocation of the local government should be paid directly to them, and the government, like Ondo State government, is still maintaining that account or money meant for the local government still be paid into a joint account committee where forward sharing is done, I want to put it to you that it is illegal. Number three, you would not forget that not quite long ago, a few weeks ago, there was this outcry purportedly by a leaked chat, WhatsApp group chat of one of the local governments in Ondo, particularly the local government of our local government, where he alleged in that viral leaked document that of all the money accruable to the local government, just about 5 million naira get to each local government chairman every month. Of course, there were attempts by the state government to deny this allegation.
You said, sorry to interrupt you. You said 5 million naira gets to each local government every month. What is the 5 million naira for?
Well, maybe the government can explain to us what the 5 million naira is meant for. The least local government in Ondo State, local government with the least income from the Federal Account Allocation Committee in Nigeria present, in Ondo State presently, no local government in Ondo State earn less than 150 million naira on the average, on a monthly basis. So if a local government is entitled to above 150 million naira in a month, and by the time the money is paid in the joint account committee, you now give the chairman of local government 5 million naira. I wonder what that is for, whether for the current expenditure, for services, or for servicing the ACs in the office, or for buying fuel, I can't tell. And as if that was not enough, just to give credence to that allegation, purported allegation by that chairman as to how much is getting to them, you would recall that just a few days ago, the local government chairman of our local government who leaked that group WhatsApp chat was allegedly removed for whatever frivolous reasons by the legislative arm of that local government, which have not seen the light of the day anyway, because that decision was unpopular. And a lot of people have ascribed the leaked memo or the leaked WhatsApp group that exposed the insincerity of the state government as to the amount that gets to the local government chairman has been attributed as to one of the reasons, perhaps, why the local government chairman is being victimized and an attempt is being made to remove him from office. So, whatever anybody says, the judgment of the Supreme Court is subservient,
all right.
And that is to the extent of financial autonomy for the local government.
Mr. Ologun, I would allow you continue. I would allow you continue. Please hold on. I would allow you. You've made 3 strong allegations here, or comments, one of which is also an allegation. And I think it's also fair we hear, in terms of response from the SSA on Public Enlightenment to the Governor of the State. So, Mr. Femi Lawson, I'd like you to respond to some of these things that have been raised, these issues that have been raised.
Basically, Dapo, let me respond to the issue of joint allocation account. You see, there is a judgment of the Supreme Court, but I think we need to guide our misguided brothers to the extent that any judgment of any court, including the Supreme Court, or any part of any judgment that is inconsistent with the dictate of the Constitution cannot be said to be superior. Like I said, there is still one order to cross. As far as that judgment is concerned, it is the abolition of the joint allocation account, which is a creation of the Constitution. It is not a creation of Ondo State or any state. As long as JAC exists, okay, let me ask you, is it the governor of Ondo State that is paying allocation to the local government in Ondo State? Why is the federal government that's went to court, got judgment on local government autonomy, still paying into the joint allocation account for states if there is no constitutional provision for it? So we need to be guided and be properly informed. Number 2, it is also laughable to say 5 million get to a local government in a month. Just like you asked, 5 million for diesel, for furniture, or for stationaries. Because, or is it 5 million as salary for the chairman? I don't know. Because you don't just make blanket allocations. 5 million gets to each local government for what purpose? Because I know local government in Ondo State, not a single local government or LCDA owes salary, not a single local government in Ondo State to have workers that are embarking on industrial actions. In actual fact, only a few days ago, over 1 billion was approved for the payment of gratitude of local government.
Mr. Femi Lawson, I'm going to go back. Sorry, please hold on, Mr. Femi Lawson. I'm going to go back to the purported leaked WhatsApp chat. Are you aware, is the government of Ondo aware of this, will I call it, this so-called chat, and this 5 million naira being disbursed? Is the government of Ondo State aware of it?
No, we don't usually engage in or respond to issues that often generate from.
So the 5 million, you are saying that there no 5 million came from any quarters of government to this local government?
No, that information only came from the beer parlor. There's no document, there's no memo by anybody, either a local government chairman or even a staff, authenticating that claim. So there's no way the government will be responding to a rumor that came out from where somebody was drinking pepper soup and maybe some bottle of alcohol.
Okay, so basically what you are saying categorically is just all of that is just beer parlor gossip, even though according to Mr. Ologun, he said that the purported chairman who leaked it, is out of, I think he used the word suspended, but we'll come back to that. Please stay with us. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll definitely continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. I still have Ayodeji Ologun, the chairman of the Ondo Redemption Front, and also Femi Lawson, the SSA on Public Enlightenment, to the Ondo State Governor, as my guest this evening. Thank you for staying with me, gentlemen. Let me come to you quickly, Mr. Ologun, before we wrap up this particular conversation. The SSA to the Governor on Public Enlightenment has said that that purported leaked chat that you made reference to is just beer parlor gossip, and there's no iota of integrity or truth to it. I would like you to respond.
What exactly? I didn't hear that well.
That the purported leaked WhatsApp chat that you made reference to, the SSA to the governor is saying that, look, there's no iota of truth to it, it's just beer parlor gossip.
Well, he didn't say there's no iota of truth to it. What I heard him say is that the government which he represents will not respond to such because there's no official memo or there's no official documents.
But he called it, sorry, he called it beer parlor gossip. Would you take beer parlor gossip seriously?
If there is no action, there are no reactions. And your boss will say, if there is no fire burning, you don't see smoke or the ashes. The same local government chairman, through whom that WhatsApp chat was leaked, which became an issue, which of course the local government Commissioner of Local Government Affairs in Ondo State responded to, where I was trying to explain the way how funds of local government is being shared, responded to that same allegation. So if he's saying, according to him, that is the beer parlor allegation, he seems not to know what he's talking about, because the chairman that is in charge of local government administration in that state, in Ondo State, that is our state, responded to that same allegation that is calling the beer parlor gossip. But as if that is not enough, the same local government chairman was being set up for removal just a few days ago. It's everywhere in the news. And the legislative of the local government claiming that he carried out what they called misconduct or financial misoperation, as the case may be, which of course has not been allowed to scale to, because people of the local government and even the staff of the government are fully with the local government chairman that is being tried to remove. But let me say this clearly. Look, when you talk about local government administration, it is the closest form of government to the people. And when administration, when governance at that level is not allowed to thrive by the dictates of the provision of the law and to the benefit of the people, then something is wrong. No government in Ondo State today can boast of construction of roads, can boast of building health centers, can boast of constructing markets, which are ordinarily the duties of the local government. And these are duties that the state government is usurping, because he was talking about the state government approving payments to local government retirees. Look, these are things that the local government chairman and members of the executive of the local government should do. It's not the duty of the local government the state government to determine or be given approval to how local government retirees will be paid. If local government administration would thrive, then total freedom in terms of administration through finances must be granted. We see what local government administrations are doing in Lagos State. You see the gigantic buildings being built in the name of local government across Lagos State. We saw what the woman lady that is a local government chairman, I think in Nimo or one of the other states, is doing. Come to Ondo State and let one local government chairman in Ondo State point to a project that has been carried out under their watch since they've been elected. That shows you how much of inactivity is going on at the local government in Ondo State, which is unacceptable.
All right, thank you very much. I'll come back to you, Mr. Femi Lawson, to of course, quickly respond to some of these things that have been said, and your final remarks.
There's a lot of lack of understanding about how some of this works, and that's why I said our brothers are misguided. Number one, issues of pensions and gratuities are not what the local governments are empowered to undertake. These are very simple things that are in the public domain. The states are responsible for payment of pensions and gratuities. That's number. Number two is the fact that the government of Ondo State has no hand whatsoever in what happened as far as administration of local government democratic leaderships are concerned. If there are issues within the democratic structure of political leadership in our work, none of them were appointed by the governor. They were elected, so they have their ways of dealing with their issues. Thirdly, is the fact that we may need to, assist some of our people who are not well informed in further enlightening them about what local government across Ondo State are currently embarking upon in the area of infrastructure. I was in local government a few days ago, and I can tell you that in the next few days, a lot of projects are going to be commissioned, undertaken by the chairman of that local government. Just in the last few months of being there. And this is happening across, as we speak. For the first time, you are not hearing about this issue of flooding has become a culture in Ondo State over the years. Every local government in Ondo State have been involved in dredging, major dredging of canals and rivers across the local government in the last few months. So local governments in Ondo State are effective they are working. But unfortunately, a lot of our misguided people are not having enough, or some are also aware of this, but deliberately, maybe for obvious political reason, they want to play ignorance of what is happening on Ondo State. Ondo State local government administration is effective. We are one of the few states that has given independence to local government administration to operate. And the administration of Aiyedatiwa, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, is not in any way going to interfere in how local government administrations are run in Ondo State. They are independent, they are autonomous, and that is why we have effective governance across our local government now. And finally, let me also say this. There's nothing strange in having LCD. It's in Lagos. It's a process, and we are still in the constitutional process of ensuring that these LCDs are listed in the Constitution to make them full-fledged local government that would serve as a state.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Ologun, finally. The SSA to the governor said that, look, the local governments in Ondo State are working, and that the current administration has given the local government some level of freedom to perform. So he keeps using the word that some of their brothers are misguided. So maybe you would like to just speak on this, just briefly, before we wrap it up.
When you say local government organization in the state is performing, the best way to respond to such is to point to achievements or things done by such local government.
So can we just take, maybe you can just respond to that. He put a question to you, Mr. Lawson. He said maybe you can just point out to some of the achievements within this local government. Just maybe 30 seconds.
These local governments are just few months in office, and as you speak, I thought the commissioning of projects will be happening in part of my own state, in my own part of the state, in the next few days in October. Local government markets, which is their statutory responsibility, are being constructed. Local government across the state are involved in dredging of canals and the waterways across the state. The various local government are constructing roads. The least being 5 kilometers as we speak, across the local government in Ondo State. So these are visible things, and that's why we're inviting people not to be blind to these realities and be open-minded while wanting to actually criticize. We are open to criticism, but we don't want blind criticism that are usually induced, from where people are enjoying the leisure of evening, having access of paper.
All right, Mr. Lawson, thank you very much, because we really need to go. Mr. Ologun, I noticed you were laughing. He said that some of these achievements are visible to the eyes. There are roads there. There are, of course, rehabilitations happening. So what's the noise about?
I am speaking to you from Ondo State. I don't know if he is. And I can tell you for a fact that these are lies. I don't know when somebody will call. The only thing that was able to talk about now, point to, is dredging of waterways in Ondo State. How can dredging of waterways be the only achievement of a local government that have been in existence for months, which also testify to? These local governments are not functional. Look, agriculture is in comatose, despite the fact that Ondo State used to be one of the agriculturally viable states in Ondo State. Agriculture in Ondo State, in terms of investment, at a 0 point. Government administrations function. Fertilizers to farmers, seedlings to farmers, all of these are not seen. You talk about construction of roads. What is 5 kilometers of road to a local government with the amount of money accruable to them on a monthly basis? So let's juxtapose what is accruable to each local government per month to what he called achievement. And if you put that side by side with all what other local government administration in places like Lagos and some other state of the federation are doing. And when you were talking about the fact that I was talking about his brothers being misguided, let me tell you that, look, the man that you are speaking to was a secretary of the Ondo Redemption Front that he seems to be casting aspersion on now. He was a secretary of the group before he was expelled from the group. And his appointment with the state government today is based on his activities with the ORF, which made it possible for him to have been so appointed. So whatever he's saying, the ORF remains a watchdog, not only for the state government, but to ensure that the issue of accountability and transparency is maintained and advocated for, not just in any local government, but the entirety of Ondo State. And that is verifiable by previous actions of the group.
All right, gentlemen, I'd like to say a big thank you. But rest assured that this conversation wouldn't end here. We'll definitely continue and would bring you on again as developments unfold. But I'd like to say a big thank you, Mr. Ayodeji Ologun, chairman of the Ondo Redemption Front, and also Femi Lawson, the SSC on Public Enlightenment, to the Ondo State Governor. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dapo.
All right.